Micah.
Hey Kate, how's it going?
Pretty good. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. I'm feeling very professional, very podcasty with our microphones here.
Yes,
It's
it is.
this work just keeps on going.
Yes, it does.
And it's wonderful.
It is.
I was working on some homework earlier.
Yeah.
And when I finally got it done, I was so happy to just be done with it, never touch it again. Do you have any homework due?
I do.
You do? So after this, you're gonna go work on it, right?
I am.
Oh, okay, good. Have you ever? It feels really good to let go of tasks.
Yes, it does.
If it's just a task that keeps going on and on and on, we sometimes get tired or burnt out. But it's interesting. Today we're continuing in our study of Hebrews, and our theme today is going to be Christ isn't done. Whereas we might want to let go and be done with something, there's a certain something that Christ isn't done with. And we're going to talk about that.
Yes,
so
we are.
We'll start out by turning, our Bible's right side up, to Hebrews chapter 9, verses
24 through 28.
That's right. So, let us hear it, Kate.
All right. For Christ did not enter a sanctuary made with human hands, that was only a copy of the true one. He entered heaven itself, now to appear for us in God's presence. Nor did he enter heaven to offer himself again and again, the way the high priest entered the most holy place, every year with blood that is not his own. Otherwise, Christ would have had to suffer many times since the creation of the world. But he has appeared once for all at the culmination of the ages to do away with sin by the sacrifice of himself. Just as people are destined to die once, and after that to face judgment, so Christ was sacrificed once to take away the sins of many. And he will appear a second time, not to bear sin, but to bring salvation to those who are waiting for him.
So it's really fun with Hebrews because it keeps going back over those same things that we've talked about.
And adding to them.
And adding to them. Because, well, if you remember last week, we talked about Christ is enough. Christ is enough to cover our sins, that it's not something that has to happen again and again and again. But Christ came once and saved us all. Sacrificed himself to save us all. Now,
but he isn't finished with us yet.
Yeah, that's the work that we're talking about, or the theme that we're picking up on is in that last verse, that verse 28. Because if Christ came once, and that was enough to save all, why isn't Christ done? Because we didn't choose that as our theme.
No.
We chose Christ isn't done. What isn't Christ done with?
Saving us. He's not done with saving us yet.
And when I hear that verse that Christ will come a second time to save those who are eagerly waiting for him, my mind immediately goes to those stories in the news and media of doomsday cults and the predictions of the second coming of Christ is happening at this time in this place, and people are just going to disappear. But we don't know what it's going to be like.
No, we don't.
But we do know one thing for sure. Is Christ gone?
No.
No. Where is Christ?
He's in heaven.
In heaven. So Christ isn't here then, right?
Yes and no.
Yes and no. I'll make it a little more different. Is Christ here when we share communion?
Yes.
Okay. Is Christ here when we care for our neighbors?
Yes.
Okay. Is Christ here when we're doing our homework?
Yes.
Is Christ here when we're not doing our homework?
Yes.
Is Christ going to be there at the end of the age?
Yes.
And what work is Christ doing in all of that?
He's bringing us salvation.
Saving work. Exactly. So while we don't know all the answers, our homework isn't done yet. We don't know. There's no textbook that says, hey, this is how everything exactly is going to happen and work.
No.
We do know that Christ isn't done with us. Christ isn't done with the world.
No, he isn't.
And the work that Christ isn't done with is that work of
Salvation,
of freedom, of life. So, neighbor, pray that this week you would remember Christ isn't done with you.
No, he isn't. And he's with you through it all.
And you'll see in later, neighbor, when Christ is with us then too.
See you later, neighbor.